Alright, welcome everybody. This is now week 13. By the time you see this video, this folder will be lit up so you can select it. But first thing you want to do, of course, go to course content, click on week 13. And again, by the time you see this, you'll have an introductory video, which will be this video. So watch this video first. If you're listening to this, you're most likely watching this first. This week, what we're doing is we're getting ready for Writing Project 4. So go ahead and take a peek at the guidelines. The big thing to understand about this is really just that the Writing Project 4 is a direct continuation of Writing Project 3. Last time you said you took on this very unlikely perspective on whatever topic it is that you chose. So you tried to get away from the popular viewpoint and say, here's an alternative. Here's something that not a lot of people have considered, but it should be considered, and here's why. Now is your chance to actually propose that research be done to follow your perspective, to prove basically that what you said in Writing Project 3 was in fact true. Now, the thing about this one is that you're not actually going to conduct a study. I know that a lot of people hear that you have to consider studies and methodology and things like that, and they freak out because that stuff can get really complicated. That's not what you're doing. You're simply proposing that one be done. And in order to propose that a study be done, you have to tell us what type of study you want to do. So if you were going to do a study, which one would you do to prove that your theory is in fact correct? So kind of take a look through here. I'll kind of skim through it, of course, 4 to 5 pages, 7 relevant sources. Writing Project 4 consists of, I'm reading right here. Writing Project 4 consists of creating a proposal in which you argue the need for a particular research study to be conducted within your field of study. So last time you said, my theory is this, and it is different than the popular belief, but it is in fact true. Now is your chance to propose that that argument is indeed true. The main task of an academic proposal argument is to first discover what topics are being covered in your area of interest. Now what that's talking about, you've probably already done that. This is more so for those people that are changing topics, but nonetheless, you have to have outside sources to say that this area of interest is indeed lacking in knowledge, and that your study, what you're going to do is going to prove something new. That is your theory, your new perspective on whatever your topic is. Your new study is going to propose, or the new study that you're proposing is going to prove this new theory, this new idea. Once you discover, that's talking about a request. You can, here it's talking about finding a topic. Basically, if you were starting from scratch, you would have to look at other articles, like research articles, and see what they were suggesting. So what that's talking about is once you discover a request for future research is made by a current author within the field, you're going to justify the need for the study. Now, if you've already done, if you're choosing the same topic as Writing Project 3, then you don't really need to worry about that so much. One thing you do need to worry about, though, is in this type of argument, you will synthesize calls made by multiple authors, so basically research done by multiple authors that's going to back up your justification to conduct this study, and we'll talk about that a little bit more next week. For this assignment, you'll take the information gleaned from research 1, 2, and 3, Writing Project 1, 2, and 3. You found several sources by now. Now find out what information these authors basically need to know. What is something that people don't know in their field? Now, this is going to be your theory. Whatever your Writing Project 3, your topic was about, that's your new theory. That's your new idea. That's what you're trying to prove. So that's more or less what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and go back. And the first thing you're going to have to do is, of course, define your research question, just like you've done in the past. You need to come up with some kind of question that's going to basically direct your research. Here's an example that I use here. If you were trying to prove that increased funding to police departments would lower mass shootings, then you need to first come up with a research question that can lead you to proving this argument correct. You might say something like, does increased police funding help decrease the likelihood of mass shootings in the immediate area? So whatever your theory was, let's say that your crazy new theory was that carbs actually help people lose weight, and so you should eat more and more carbs. That's kind of directly opposite of what the whole Atkins idea is. So if you did something like that, you're trying to prove this new theory that, oh, carbs, everybody was wrong, carbs are actually how we're supposed to lose weight. Well, your research question would be something along the lines of, does an increase in carb intake also increase the likelihood of losing weight. And so that's kind of your guiding question. And of course, the next assignment is going to be the hypothesis, where you answer your own question. I hypothesize that carbs, an increased amount of carb intake would in fact decrease mass or increase weight loss or something like that. If we use the first example from up here, does increased police funding help decrease the likelihood of mass shootings in the immediate area? I hypothesize that increased funding will decrease the likelihood of mass shootings, or I hypothesize that increased funding will not decrease the likelihood of mass shootings. That you've all done before, so I think this is going to be an easy one. Of course, if you have questions, feel free to ask. The other assignment that's due this week, you actually have 4 assignments due. Those are 2 of them, and then your third one is your Works Cited page. Now, you only need 7 sources, and you only needed 7 sources from last writing project as well, so you may end up just keeping the same the same Works Cited. If you change your Works Cited, of course, be sure to change it before you turn it in, but just make sure that you turn in your Works Cited for this week as well. Now, the fourth assignment, this is where it gets a little tricky, is in this folder where it's called Research Design Assignment. You have to decide if you're going to try and prove that an increase in police funding would decrease mass shootings, or an increase in carb intake would increase the likelihood of losing weight, then you need to figure out how you're going to prove that. And so there's a million different design options out there for creating a study, but I've given you 4 here. And at the end of the day, what I want you to do is watch these videos, and of course watch my video. I'm going to post a video in here next. But you just have to choose one of these. And then to tell me why. Why did you choose that? So in the next video, I'm going to go through each of these 4. You have experimental designs, you have causal research, you have correlational studies, and you have just generic surveys, which a lot of people usually go with surveys. But I'm going to explain those in my next video. For now, the first thing you need to do is, of course, do the course reading. So read that. Read this website. It kind of puts it into easier terms to understand, and the videos are easy as well. But the concepts themselves can be pretty difficult, so I really highly suggest reading through this website here to kind of go over those. Once you read this, then you can watch the videos, and at the end of the day, all I really want you to do is scroll down to this 4th assignment down here that's called Research Design, and based on these 4 that I've given you and that you read about and watched the videos about, which design do you think could be best used to make the argument in your study? So if you were trying to prove that increased funding will decrease mass shootings, which one of those 4 designs is going to help you? Now, I know that doesn't really make much sense now, but in my next video I'm going to explain that. But really what you need to do here is just in a post of 100 words or more, explain the design you're choosing to propose in your study, because you're proposing a study. So explain which design you're choosing, and then you go through, after you've explained in 100 words why you're choosing that design, go to another person who has posted an explanation, and then suggest an alternative to what they're, and that's just 50 words in your reply. So a little bit more work than most weeks, but this week I think is going to be pretty much the top of the hill for week 4, or for writing project 4. After this, it gets pretty much it's downhill. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I will be posting a video again here in just a few minutes that will go over these designs, and I'll try to explain those a little bit easier for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me via Skype, email, cell phone. If you want to call me or text me is fine. Just make sure you let me know if you have any questions. If not, I will see you guys next week.